Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most gracious. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. I am Mohammed Sadek. This series of short videos are joint effort by Mohamed Sadek and Mohamed Dandan, members of the International Qur'anic Center in Washington, ahlulquran.com. The subject today we're going to talk about it is the distortion of the image of Islam, part 1. The material in this video is directed to non-Arabic speaking people and to those who like to watch media manipulation of Islam as being is not a religion of peace, as well as believing in what the media falsely propagate and spread negative image of Islam. Note, what we are talking about is not religion as faith, rather the action of its followers. The main objective of this material is an attempt to correct the image of Islam, relying and quoting the Quran alone. To the majority of those who have no real knowledge or have fake information about the Quran-based understanding of the subject with real authentic information once for all. The three major Abrahamic religions came from one source. The true one God never changes his mind from one group or generation to another. The 10 Commandments in the Bible are mentioned also in the Quran, chapter 6, verse 151 and 152. They are a set of biblical and Quranic principles relating to ethics and worship. The commandments include instruction to worship only one God, to honor one's parents, as well as prohibitions against adultery, blasphemy, murder, adultery, theft, dishonesty, and coveting. Different religious groups follow different traditions of interpretation of their scripture. That includes Muslims too. There are ardent American Christians who explicitly link Christianity to guns, who buy up weapons like there is no tomorrow, but who nonetheless marvel at the warlike circumstance. In fact, the unbelievable vitriol with which conservative Christians have insisted on maligning not just radicals, but an entire religion looks a lot like the kind of violence and intolerance of which they accuse Muslims of. Dylan Roof, American citizen, killed 9 people in the middle of a Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina. Before his rampage, he wrote a manifesto declaring his allegiance to the white supremacist cause and pointing to the Council of Conservative Citizens, which claims to adhere to Christian beliefs and values, as a major source of information and inspiration. By some accounts, Roof came from a church-going family and attended a Christian summer camp. Did Roof kill his fellow Christians because he was deranged or because Christianity is violent? That's a question. The answer is neither. Those are not exceptions, nor do they speak of violence inherent in Christianity. My point is that Christianity is not evil, and neither is Islam, nor Judaism, nor Hinduism, or Buddhism. The tenets of any religion are different from the actions of its followers. The first segment is about how radical Muslims distort the image of Islam, thinking that they are doing what the Quran says, breaking the divine orders in the Quran. First verse, the Quran says, chapter 6, 153. This is what He commands you to do, so that you may take heed. This is my path, leading straight, so follow it, and do not follow other ways. They will lead you away from it. This is what He commands you to do, so that you may refrain from wrongdoing. Second verse, chapter 42, verse 13. In matters of faith, He has laid down for you, people, the same commandments that He gave Noah, which we have revealed to you, between brackets Mohammed, and which we enjoined on Abraham and Moses and Jesus, peace be upon all of them. Uphold the faith and do not divide into factions within it. What you, O Prophet, call upon the idolaters to do is hard for them. God chooses whoever He pleases for Himself and guides towards Himself those whom turn to Him. Number 3, chapter 3, verses 31 and 32. Turn to Him alone, all of you. Be mindful of Him. Keep up the prayer. Do not join those who ascribe partners to God, those who divide the religion into sects, with each party rejoicing in their own. That's end of 3 verses from the Quran. Did some of the practicing Muslims follow these divine orders and its prohibitions? I'm asking questions now. Uphold the faith and do not divide into factions within it. Did some of these practicing Muslims follow this order? The answer is no. They divided their faith into groups and sects. This is a major part of the problem. Each group interpret part of the scripture according to their agenda, be it political, monetary, fame, or control, and so on, etc. Ignoring the description in chapter 30, verse 31 and 32, which says, if you divide your practices into sects or groups, you will be among the disbelievers. As committed by Muslim acts committed by Muslim groups or Muslim individuals who use Islamic motivations or goals, do more harm to Islam than good. Those terrorists have relied on their interpretations of the tenets of faith, in this case found in the Quran. Such groups have cited the Quran to justify violence and killing. Despite Islam's central tenets of love and peace, traditionists have always had a violent side because they relied on some traditions called ahadith, plural, meaning hearsays, that promote violence, that contradict Quranic tenets. The bloody history of the tradition has provided disturbing images and violence. This history and these false interpretation images have provided the raw material for theologically justifying the violence of contemporary Muslim groups. We'll meet again, God willing, with part 2 of the distortion of the image of Islam. At the end, peace be with you all, and farewell.